My name is Lars Holm Sørensen. What I want to show you first today is how do I, as a blind user, navigate the internet. To be honest, I'm not totally blind. I can see about 1 or 2% of what most of you can probably see, but it's definitely not enough for me to read what's on the screen or see what else is going on. So I'm using what we call a screen reader program. That's a program that reads aloud for me what's on the screen, and I'm going to demonstrate in this first session what it's like to experience the internet in this way. If you have any questions along, you're very welcome. Just interrupt. I can't see if you are putting your hands in the air, so just shout, do something to make me aware of your questions, and I'll be happy to answer.
Information on what to consider. Heading level 1, starting with it.
So my screen reader, it draws like a dark frame, a rectangle around where it has focus right now, and there should also be some captions so you can see, if you can't follow the digital voice, so you can see what is the text output from the screen reader. Normally when you get the visual overview of a web page, it probably takes a couple of seconds, and then you've oriented yourself what kind of regions do we have on this page, and where's the parts that I'm interested in. When the page is read aloud, it's a little bit different, and that's the first thing I want to show you.
Tile visuals. Main line items. And the tab. Stopping. New tab. Link. Skipped.
So what I've done now, I've just switched off the screen. The only thing you can see now is just the elements which the screen reader is reading, which is in focus. That should give you the impression of how you kind of miss the visual overview of the page. When you read something, it's like a linear process. You start somewhere and you end somewhere, and now I'll just start reading the page from the beginning with my screen reader. And I'm just starting at the top of the page.
Dim link. Link. Skip to what about this site code. Dim link. Link. Basic HTML version. Banner 5 items. Heading level 2. Language selection. Link. Francais. Link. Government of Canada. Heading level 2. Search. Search 2 items. Search website. Search banner area. Search button. Adding search. Navigation 2 items. Heading level 2. Topics menu. Menu bar items. Jobs. Job bank. Find the job. Training. Untiled visual.
And I'll just switch it back on here. What do you think about this way of reading the page? Slow? Some confusing? Yeah.
Did you decrease the speed of
the voice speech rate? Yeah. Normally it's speaking faster. I turned it a bit down for you. Let me see what is on right now.
Alex, rate 40, pitch rate 45%.
Yeah, now it's on 45%, and I would usually go about 60% or something, 65. But that's not really the thing that makes a difference. The thing here is that it just takes way too long to read from the beginning. So what can we do about this? We need some kind of structure which I can use for navigation. But first I also want to ask, did you notice anything else about what it was reading? Is it just the text, or does it say anything else? Yeah, exactly. It tells me, for example, the links. It tells me this is a link, this is a button, and that's really a quite important thing to be aware about. That as long as you use the proper HTML markup, these informations are actually conveyed to me through the screen reader. And that gives me the idea about how can I interact with this element. When it tells me it's a link, well, I definitely expect that I can press enter and activate the link. And so on with the buttons and the images and lists, tables. all these different elements you have in your HTML, they will somehow be conveyed to me. They will give me some information which help me understand the structure of the page. Well, but we need a faster way to get around. So what I will usually do when I go to a web page is actually to look for headings.
Headings menu. Heading level 2. Heading level 1. Starting with this.
This is the HTML headings used on the page, and I can use these to get an overview because my screen reader can create this list for me. So if the headings are done proper, I can use this to actually get the overview and to navigate. What I normally expect is that the first level 1 heading is where the primary content on the page starts. So I will kind of look for the first level 1 heading, jump to that one,
Heading level 1.
and then I can start reading
Information on website. Heading level 2.
from here.
Link.
And I can jump the headings if I like to.
Heading level 2. Services and info. Heading level 3. Link. Before starting your heading level 3. Link. Start dash guides.
But this kind of navigation makes it much easier for me to kind of get around. But it only works if the headings are actually HTML headings, of course. I want to show you a different level of navigation I can do, which is landmark navigation.
Headings landmarks menu. Banner. Search. Navigation.
This is, you can say, on a different level. You can divide your page, the regions, into landmarks, which I can also, as you see, get on a list. And I can jump to the different navigation areas, search areas, etc.
Navigation, search.
If I want to go to the search
Website.
field, I can do that.
Landmarks.
What you notice here, we have more than one navigation area. And I can't really tell the one from the other because I don't have any names. So it would be very nice if it was just not just names navigation, but also had a name.
Search website. Open location ellipsis.
And I hope I can show you an example of that.
Safari busy. Safari ready. Bilateral dash persona open folks Open file ellipsis. Open. List 1 item selected. Persona finder. Safari. Bilateral. New close tab button. New. Bilateral tab. New tab button. Close tab button. Persona remove your top period. Closed. Persona remove your top period. PDF. Selected. Tab. Close all. Nota HT.
I'm just confused on what's going on now.
Safari. Google Pages. Enter full screen. Nota HTML content. Landmarks menu.
Here we are.
Handling or navigate.
Again here, at the bottom you can see, again we have more than one navigation area, but in this case they're given names so you can actually tell them apart, and that's quite nice if you have more than one kind of an area.
Nota H. Menu bar. File edit. View. History. Bookmarks. Map view. Links up. Formula. Links up builder. Nota HTML. Links up builder. Ferrari news column. All the latest 90% loaded.
Well, a different way of navigation is by link. If I get into a page where the heading structure isn't really working for me, I would start look at what kind of links do I have on the page. And when I'm navigating by links, of course, it's pretty nice if the links, they have some meaningful names. If I can determine from the name of the link what is actually going to happen if I press this thing.
Ferrari news. All landmarks. Links menu. Link.
Yeah.
Visited. Link. Auto.
This is all the links you'll see on this page, and the first ones of them, they are pretty okay.
Link. Racing. Link. E-shop.
E-shop, that's probably where I can go to buy my new car if I like, or something.
Link. Read the article. Link. Read the article.
But then we have these ones just saying, read the article. That doesn't really make sense for me. What will happen if I press this? Okay, I'm probably going to read something, but I don't know anything about what it is. And yeah, it's the same. It's usually there's a lot of these links named like click here or read more, read here, so on. So yeah, consider that if you use these kind of names on your web pages. Yeah.
So a link has visible text, and it also has the title attribute, or similar, that has additional information about where the link leads you to. Is that available to you in your screen reader? Because it seems like in this part you're showing us here, that's not available. It's only the plain text that is reading it out.
It depends a little bit from screen reader to screen reader. The first thing the screen reader would normally look at is, are there any text in the link? You know, text in your A elements, your link elements, and that would definitely be the first thing the screen reader would look for. And then most screen readers would also look for, I mean, if there's no text available, are there an title attribute or also something you can put something called an area label on it, which we'll get back to later. So yeah, you can give a name to a link if it doesn't have any text on it.
So I'm sorry if I'm taking this too far.
It's okay.
Only say read the article. Are we to conclude that it's because it only shows you the actual text when it's available, or is it that they may not have added any additional attributes to the
They probably didn't add anything to this. I can just navigate to the link and
Link, choose attribute, link, read the article, link, link, read the article.
yeah, well, now I can't tell it for sure because I can't see it, but I suppose it's because there's just some text saying read. Yeah.
Question?
Yeah.
Question, can you easily jump from there to from this link that is has a poor text for you? Can you jump to the first heading above that or before that easily and then perhaps find the heading?
Yeah, I could start reading or jumping backwards and in that way kind of get an idea about what this is. But the preferred thing would be if I could see directly on the link list. One solution you can use if, I mean, for some reasons perhaps you don't want to make a very long visual text link, but you can actually hide some text which is shown for the screen reader, so it will say something like read more about, and then about, and then you have some hidden text saying what it is actually. Does it make sense? Yeah. Good. So it is possible to make to put more information into the link without spoiling the visual appearance. But another point, if perhaps not in a case where it's like articles and just read more links, but if you have links within a text, it also actually makes sense that these links are kind of, they work like, if people are skimming through the text, they kind of work like keywords or something. So it does make good sense to think about, do my link text work out of context, actually.
Links menu, headings menu, landmarks menu, images menu, Italian Grand Prix at Ferrari on the go.
Then to the images. Now it tells me, because I just hit an image, and this image has what we call an alternative text. So it's actually reading something about the Ferrari on somewhere. I don't remember what it said. But it's reading this alternative text to me, and it's also telling me this is an image, because it is an image. And what the screen reader does when it encounters an image is it's always trying to give me some kind of information about what's going on here. And as long as the image has this alternative text, the alt attribute, it's no problem, it knows what to do. But I'll just show some other examples of what else can happen.
Images, celebrating IMS picture image.
For example, this is a funny one. There's an image just saying picture image. For some reason they put the alternative picture in there to let me know it's a picture. But the screen reader is telling me it's a picture anyway, so this one just says picture image. And that's actually a good point. When you're writing your alternative text on your images, you don't have to write things like picture or photo or graphic or something, because that's just kind of double, and that's just waste of my time to get that information twice.
Auto period. Picture image. Car dash configurator period. DOYZGLW underline link. DOYZGLW underline normal period. JPEG Ferrari and Ferrari sophisticated aerodynamics for a top driving experience period. Number Ferrari number 400.
Yes, this one is at least saying something, but I think there's a better one.
The 500 law Ferrari celebrating horse IMF picture in auto picture image car dash DOYZ Facebook image YouTube image Twitter image Instagram newsletter image Facebook image DOYZGLW underline normal period JPEG image link.
Yeah, whatever. The point is that when you don't specify, or when you leave out the else attribute of the image, my screen reader is trying to do the next best, because it just wants to tell me something, and it just gives me the file name, and in a lot of cases it's really don't make sense. Of course, you're going to have situations where I want to leave out the image, but the right way to do that is not to leave out the als attribute. The right way to do it is to put the empty als attribute in there. Just type als equals quote. If you do that, then the image will be totally ignored by my screen reader.
Menu so file edit view history bookmarks edit add bookmark map unit link formula form links builder formula link DOYZGLW underline normal period formula contact us HTML content 89% loaded contact us page has 7 headings 38 links.
Yeah, and we are going to look at some form fields inputs. Again, I have the option to show the inputs fields on a list.
Link, images, links, men, headings, men, landmarks, buttons, menu, form, control, search button, first name star, edit text.
And you can see here the labels belonging to the fields is actually showed here on my list, and that gives me an idea about what I have to enter in the fields.
First name star, edit A-R-S. Last name star, edit text.
And as I tap to enter the next field, it also reads the label for me there.
S. O/R-E-N. Company left parent, if applicable, right parent. Address R, edit text. B-A-N-E-J, space, 1. City star, edit text. K-H. State star, edit text. L-S. L, country left parent, if not new period. S period, D-K. Zip code star, edit text. 2-2-1-1-2-2. Phone, edit text. 2-3-2-3-1-2-1-2. Email star, edit text. L-A. @LA. @DK. Ticket type, pop-up button. Menu checkmark, season passed. Prep, season passed. Date of visit, left parent, mm/dd/.
And actually in this field it's quite nice for me that it tells me what format to enter the date, otherwise I would have to guess.
0-1/1-2/2-1-6. Question or comment star, edit text. H-E-L-L-O. Yes, comma, subscribe, new period. Press, yes, comma, subscribe.
Okay.
Form controls.
Yeah. A bit louder, please.
It says star after every required field.
Yeah.
How do you, are you listening for the star?
Yeah, it's of course that means it's a required field, and yeah, I know that, and other users would know that as well, recognize that as a required field.
Is there any way to make that?
To leave it out, or what?
No, is that if you have an error, you'll say it's required. Does it then tell you that it's a required field?
You could also just, I don't remember the exact name, but there is in input fields you do have a required attribute you can put on it. So if you do that, the screen reader would announce that as well. Or you could just put it in text above your form, saying something like fields with stars are required, or something like that. But yeah, I guess most people would know what this convention means.
Question?
Yeah.
Right now you have a wrong email address. You have 2 @ in it. How do you prefer to get that feedback?
Is it giving any feedback right now? No. Okay. It depends a bit on where you are validating the inputs. If you're reloading the page, my screen reader would start at the beginning. So in this case, I would actually like the error message near the top, saying you forgot this field, or you had some errors in this field, or whatever. Or otherwise, just perhaps next to, if you validate before you're submitting the form, I would prefer to have the text close to the submission button. And there are also something you can do to actually, if you have the error next to the input field, there are some ways you can actually trigger the screen reader to say, to announce that there is an error there.
So that when it appears, it automatically gets focus, or?
That could be an option to move the focus up there as well. Yeah. What I would usually do before submitting, I would just review my inputs, and I would, rather than jumping between all the fields, I would do it by this list. And the reason why I can do this is that in this case, all the labels, they are proper connected to the input fields by label 4. And because of that, I get the information on my list here, what label belongs to what field, and I can actually check, is it the right information I gave in the right fields. I'm going to show you a different case a bit later where it's different. But there's just a difference, another thing I want to show you here.
Submit, yes, drag the slider to unlock the form.
So this one, drag the slider to unlock the form, and I'm reading on.
Submit, dimmed button.
And what I see is just a dimmed submit button. I don't get that slider at all. And this is a case of as long as you are using the native HTML elements and use them in the way they're meant to be used, they can be conveyed to me and I can interact with them, and it pretty much works out of the box. But as soon as you start to do something weird, creating your own kind of interaction elements, you have to do something extra to actually make them accessible, and that's actually both for me as a screen reader user, but also for other keyboard users as well. So actually this slider is preventing me from fulfilling my dreams of going to Dollywood Park one day. So that's
So file, edit, view, history, bookmark, show bookmark, link for, develop, overlay, serial, develop, formula used in labels. Formula used in labels, contact us, 8 contact us page, form controls, HDR underline resident, HDR for resident, for visitor, government, image, form control, edit text, blank, edit text, blank, edit text, blank, mail, edit text, blank.
Here you can see it's a bit different. It's just a lot of fields saying edit text, so it doesn't really give me any information about what to put in there.
And edit text, it gets that just from it being an input with the...
Yeah, that's just because it's an input text field.
Yeah.
Edit text.
So I can jump to the field, and then I can start moving my screen reader focus around.
Name calling. Edit text. Name calling.
So I can can get to the label and read the label and kind of guess what belongs here.
Edit text.
But it's not actually that easy, because I suppose in this case the name label is to the right, sorry, to the left of the input field. It could also have been, in some cases, to the right of the input field, and then it suddenly gets confusing for me what label is actually belonging to what field. Is a label coming before or after, if they're not connected in this way. And also, if I fill out these things, and when I want to review my inputs, if I have, for example, different telephone numbers at different street addresses in the same form, it gets very confusing to actually know, was this the phone number or the fax number, or what is it in the different fields.
Lars,
Yeah.
even if a form is marked up correctly with labels, how often would you say that you fill out something incorrectly because of the wording in the labels? Like on this one it says name, but it could be full name or it could be first name, and sometimes it says address, but maybe it would be easier with street or something like that. How important is the wording of the labels?
Of course, that's important, but I mean that's important in all situations. That would also be important for all of your other users. Yeah, to be as clear as possible about what to actually put in there. But of course, yeah, make it as exact as possible. Mm-hmm.
Menu. So 5. Edit. View. History. Bookmark. Add bookmark. Formula. Develop action. Formula used in labels. Develop action. Edit text. Blank. Develop action. U period. U.S. pet ownership statistics page has.
We're going to look at some table data, and this first example is the evil example.
Space. Form links menu. Headings. Tables menu. 5 columns. 8 rows. Level 2 table. Blank. Column 1.
September 7, 7:09 p.m.
Blank. Row 2. Row 3. Row 2. Row 43. Row 2. 36. Percent of households owning. Tile visuals. 36.5%. 30.4%. 3.1%.
So it pretty soon gets confusing. Are we looking at the cats or the horses right now, when you can't see the column headers? The solution for this is just to use proper HTML table headings in your tables, and I'll just show you what kind of difference that will make.
Untiled visual. 5. Edit. View. History. Bookmarks. Develop God. 3.1%. Develop God. Mobile marketing. 90%. 6. Mobile marketing. Link. 6. Landmarks. Tables. 6 columns. 4 rows. Table 6 columns. Table 6 columns. Blank. Column 1. 2000. Row 2. 12. Mobile ad spending cash billions. 2015.
Okay, I know why some of you are laughing now, because so let's just talk about that first. In HTML you don't really have a proper way of defining something like this pop-up here. You can do something to make it work, but very often I see that nothing is done to make this accessible. And what happens now is that probably the code for this window is just injected somewhere in the DOM structure, but my screen reader just keep reading the page behind, and I don't get any information at all about what has happened now. So, yeah, you could say so, but what actually, I don't know how it is in this exact situation, but often when this happens, I keep reading the page behind the pop-up window, but sometimes I can read all of the links and the things there, but I can't activate the things because they are kind of disabled as long as we are in this state. So to me, it actually just looks like nothing happens when I start to press links. It just seems like a broken page. So that's the one situation. But there's also the other situation, which is even worse. It's quite often when these windows are coming that that I actually they are there because they want me to take some kind of action. I have to answer something. I have to say yes or no to something to go on with whatever I'm doing, and that's not very easy when I don't even know that I'm asked a question or whatever it is. And now I have a problem, so I actually need one of you to come up and help me to close this window down before we can look at the table.
But wouldn't your mouse change would change to be a non-active on links? Like, because the overlay would prevent the mouse to be actually holding a link?
It has not really. It hasn't anything with the mouse to do. Normally, I mean, you see the mouse is following my screen reader, but that's just a setting that I made. They could move independently also. So my screen reader is not connected to where the mouse cursor is or what the mouse can do. So the screen reader focus is moving independently actually. And in most cases, I just can't tell the difference. It's just reading it as perfectly normal links that just don't work if I try to activate them.
But if the mouse isn't what you're moving, why can't you activate the click? Because you can actually, with JavaScript, trigger a mouse click event on HTML nodes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that how the screen reader work? Because then, if you're telling me that the mouse is not working, then I don't see why you cannot click on the links. But like, I'm not the expert.
I think the screen reader is not.
The screen reader is not sending a mouse event. It's actually sending the default action event to whatever kind of object it is that you're on. And in some cases, I would be able, and perhaps I can actually activate the links behind here. It's just in some cases they just switch all, for some reason, functionality behind is just switched off. But so nothing just happens in some cases. I don't know what would happen in this exact situation here if I tried to do it. Well, back to the table.
Yeah, I think
Link.
I can focus.
Tables menu, table 6 columns, blank, column, row 2, 2015, 28.7, column, 2016, 40.5.
And as you can see here, here it also, because it's done with the proper table headings, it also gives me actually not only the information in the cell, in the current cell where I am, but also it tells me the heading. And in this way it makes a lot more sense to me to kind of figure out what's going on in a table.